Guys, this is Tara with Kittens, Weights, and Tarot, and today I want to finally jump into my September faves. I know we are in the second week of October now, which, woo! It's gonna be Samhain and Halloween and Dia de los Muertos before we know it. I wanted to jump into a few things that I was using throughout the month of September. Some of them are new, some of them are not new, but well loved. And you know, faves is just all about what was your favorites that month, regardless if it is new or not. So the first thing I want to jump into is jewelry. And the first thing is actually a bracelet that I made when I went to the gem fair back in like July, I think it was. So this is my little bracelet here. So I had gotten these like little blue beads, you know, kind of on a little, you know, string, and just decided they would look really good with this stone here, which you know, I know it's a little blown up the highlights, but the person who sold it to me said it was, you know, white turquoise, but true white turquoise is really soft. But if you look here, some of the beads here, it's actually does resemble turquoise, and it's not howlite, which I have a lot of. So I'm not quite sure what this stone is. Maybe it's white turquoise. It does have a light bluish tint to it, so I know it's showing kind of white on the camera here, but it's, yeah, it's like a bluish white. So who knows, maybe it's like white, a really light turquoise, but it definitely does have the veins on it, and you could see, like, you know, some of the raw parts. So yeah, I don't know, really pretty though, and it's a very like calming and protective feeling. So yeah, I love my little bracelet. Also in September, I got another pair of kitten earrings from Cat Made Com. Cat Made, one word and then C-O-M. It's a shop that's on Etsy, and the earrings are made by a lovely young lady out in Russia. And I've bought like, I don't know, like 5 or 6 earrings for myself, and I've bought like a few for friends and family. But I had a little Loki earring made, and then I bought one of their Siamese so that I can have Loki and Wally in each ear, and my boys can go with me wherever I go. They can come with me. So yes, these are my little kitten earrings. Also off of Etsy, there was a pair of earrings that I wanted to get for a while, and I mean, it's not like they're expensive. They were like $4 or something. But it's these little egg earrings, because I have a thing for eggs. I just really love eggs. I even have an egg sweatshirt that in Japanese says delicious egg. Okay, so let's get into some teas. So there's been a couple of, I mean, I drink a lot of teas, but there's a couple that I was mostly drinking a lot of and obsessed with in September. And there were teas I already had, so these aren't new teas. But one is called Blue Lady Tea, and I got this from the American House out in Old Town. And it's got like rose petals and calendula, and it's black tea leaves, and I think there's a couple other things going on in here, but mostly it's the rose petals and the calendula and black tea. But yeah, they call it Blue Lady, and it's really delicious. And it's actually, while I'm filming this, it's what I'm drinking right now. And all the way from Belgium. Well, probably, no, my friend got this in Germany, but she lives in Belgium. And then she brought it when she came over during the summer. But my friend Steph from Belgium, who has a lovely YouTube channel here, it's all in French. She does a couple of English videos here and there, but she bought this for me when she took a little jaunt to Germany to go pick up some shorts and clothing to wear when she came over here to California. But this is cranberry herbal tea. So it's a really nice cranberry strawberry infusion. So yeah, pretty obsessed with this. It's sweet, soothing, and delicious. And I know in September it was jumping the gun a little bit, but I had to bust out my pumpkin spice tea again. Republic of Tea is the one of my favorite brands of tea. I just feel like their quality is really good. So we have a lot of different Republic of teas and we had the spice tea since last year. Keeps really well in these little canisters, but I felt like it was time to bust it out again, even though I know it's like still really warm here and it really doesn't cool down that much here in San Diego. There's probably like a few months a year, like 3 months a year, where it's like down into the 60s, which is really cold for us, 60-degree Fahrenheit. But yeah, so I don't know, I was feeling like kind of pumpkin spicy. And this next thing is not a tea, but it's a type of drink. And so this is called kava. It's kava powder. I made a whole video on like what is kava, how to make kava. I don't make it too often just because, I don't know, I just feel like you had things like this, you know, especially because the way it works with the body, I just, in my own opinion, I don't want to drink it that often, but it is very soothing, very relaxing. It's nothing that, you know, gets you high or anything like that. It's just like really calming. So if you were agitated, you're just like, I'm calm. You know, and then you can get done whatever you need to get done. And I found that actually, calming effects are really good on my heart because I do have tachycardia and PVCs, which is premature ventricular contractions. And yeah, works for me. Okay, getting into, I guess, snacky items, I decided to go with a different brand of protein bar at Costco. Again, it's their brand, it's Kirkland, but I really like their cinnamon roll protein bars, and they're actually not that bad. Like I look for to make sure that there's a good amount of fiber and not that much sugar in my protein bars. So this one has 21 grams of protein. It has 24 grams of carbs, 15 grams of fiber, which is like, whoa, and sugars is 2 grams. So as long as the fiber outweighs the sugar, it's, you know, like okay with, you know, how I eat. And this actually does taste like cinnamon roll. Like, usually protein bars are kind of gross, but Kirkland actually comes out with some pretty good protein bars. So like, you know, I throw one in my purse and yeah, you know, so that if I'm hungry on the go, or, you know, on the way home from the gym, you know, or I'm starving on the way into the gym, you know, I'll eat half my protein bar as I'm walking in and then eat the other half as I'm coming out. So yeah, the cinnamon roll one is really good. Okay, and then another little like snacky item I keep in here so I can keep it fresh, but it is my Colombian dark chocolate. I really love dark chocolate, and so usually I have like 2 or 3 pieces a day, and these are the Luker's dark chocolate, which I get over at Sprouts, formerly known as Boney's or Henry's. But yeah, I like the Luker dark chocolates. They're really creamy. I mean, you can use them for baking, and if you're making little moldy chocolates, which I did. I used these when I made my elderberry dark chocolates. But it smells so good. It's like 88% dark chocolate or 89%. It's really dark, you guys. So those of you that are into the dark. And then speaking of teas and things like that, I got myself a little tea infuser, but I'm actually using it for my crystals so that I can have crystal water. So this is made by Sacred Lotus Love tea tumblers. So you can look them up on Amazon. I really like the company. I dig their vibe. They're always reaching out, making sure I'm happy with their product. If I have any questions, they had like care instructions. They have YouTube videos on how to care for their stuff, how to make different teas. But I know this is probably kind of hard to see in the light here, but there's some sacred geometry going on in there. And then there's a little tea basket, which you can remove and you can unscrew from this top little strainer portion. So I don't have a crystal in here right now, but sometimes I like to put a crystal in there and have some crystal water or have some crystal tea. But right now that I do actually have some tea in the basket here. So sometimes I'll put, like if I have some loose tea leaves, I'll put it in here, and then in the basket I'll put my crystal. But I actually have my blue lady tea is what I am drinking currently. Okay, so let's go on to scents. So there are a couple of oil blends that I'm digging, and they're both by The Witch's Moon, and one is called The Witch's Shield, which I've been using every day. I put a little bit on this shoulder, a little bit on this shoulder, and I give myself, you know, like a little dab every day and every night. And I don't know, I just feel like extra protected, even though I do my own like little protection thing. I just feel extra protected. And then my other one is Starry Visions, or Starry Vision. This is from another Witch's Moon, and you give it a little shake. There's actually like little silver flakes in here, and some glitter and everything, and I just love the smell of it. It's smells like the night sky, if the night sky had a smell. And I like to put like a little down the shins of my legs. I put like a little down my arms, a little on my collarbone, and I just feel, I don't know, I just feel bright and shiny. So yeah, I'm loving this. I still have some leftover rose water from, you know, my own roses. I was able to do, you know, suck all the oil and actually the pinkness from my red roses and my white roses, and yeah, I'm still loving my rose water, you know. So definitely make your own if you have some roses. It's worth it. And the last one is actually like an actual perfume, and I've used quite a bit of it. I got it probably like a few years ago now, but it's my favorite. I just feel really like, you know, hot. I feel pretty hot when I wear this. I don't know what other like word. I was like trying to think of a different word, but I was like, no, I just kind of feel hot when I wear it. But it's called Versace, or it's by Versace, and it's Eros Parfum. Yeah, and it just, to me, smells like when I went to Italy, it actually does smell like Italy to me. Like it's just the, I don't know, you know, summertime, it's hot, it's humid, you know, things like, you know, the fresh fruits and veggies and everything that I was eating, you know, walking around, just, I don't know, it's just Italy to me. So I love this spray so much. And then I have a couple of stuffies to show you guys that I love. I love my Pusheen with his ice cream cone, and Pusheen's little friend down here. To me, this is like Wally, and this is Loki. And Loki's like, mew. You know, and then you got Wally, who's like, this is my ice cream. You can't have none. So yeah, to me, this is Wally and Loki. So let's get into crystals, or crystal, I should say. There's one that actually really spoke to me throughout the month of September, and that is my pink calcite. So I pretty much had this with me for the entirety of September. I mean, I used a couple of other stones here and there, but this is the one that was under my pillow, came with me to school every day, actually came with me wherever I went. So yeah, it was pink calcite all the way through September. And then towards the very end there, it was garnet, and garnet is the one that I've used for most of October thus far. And then I wanted to jump into books. So this book here by Sherry Dillard, and it's the Sacred Signs and Symbols book. And I finished it. I just have my bookmarker to the section that actually has the different signs and symbols that we can see, you know, throughout our waking day, and I got this from Queen Osset, also known as Oyas Girl, here on YouTube, and it was a lovely gift from her. So Queen Osset, if you're watching this, I loved my book so much, and it's gonna be a fabulous reference book, and I've already referenced it quite a few times already, and I've recommended it to like almost everybody I know. So yeah, this is a fantastic book. It's just about you know, doing the same thing we do with our tarot and oracle cards, but doing that just out in nature, being outside, you know, even if you can't get to, you know, nature, get to the forest or anything, you know, it's you know, looking for signs and symbols in suburbia, you know, in the city. So yeah, very good book. And then this other book is actually a vocal score, and it's from the opera that I did towards the end of September. I was in the Mikado, so I was in the course for the Mikado, and I'm going to be next year in the Pirates of Penzance. And so I am so excited. This was a Gilbert and Sullivan opera, so I had a lot of fun in the opera, and yeah, I don't know. It's like every once in a while, you know, I need to sing. I don't think that I would be able to do opera full time, you know, but once in a while, you know, I like to be in an opera, and I just like to sing, you know. I just feel it's so good for opening up that throat chakra, and I like to be loud, and I like to be theatrical. I mean, well, I guess I do that here on YouTube. Of course, the Viper is always a fave. Food in there right now. Yep. And of course, Wally and Loki. Yay! Always a fave. Especially when Wally's not swiping at Loki. They have brief meetings together. P.S. This whole room is dedicated to Kitten. And finally, I want to get into some decks. And before we get into the decks that I was living for September, which I've decided now, as I use decks for a certain month, I just start piling them up here. So that way I remember exactly which decks I was using for the month. But I want to get into my Wally Oracle. So this is actually my sketchbook, my original sketches for the Oracle deck. But yeah, I've already finished all my digital files, you know, for the Oracle deck, the fronts and the backs. I'm currently working on the guidebook. Guidebook probably take me maybe a couple more weeks, and I've already found a printer, and thanks to Ethany pointing me in the right direction. And so it's Printer Overseas, really nice people, really good to work with. And so they sent me some samples of like boxes and what they were able to do, you know, as far as cardstock and edging and, you know, doing foil, you know, on the cards, you know, foil ink and writing and stuff like that. So I've already picked out my cardstock. I've already decided what edging I want, you know, that I want gilded edges. I've already picked out my box. And so now it's just like working on the guidebook. And then that way, once I have the guidebook and we figure out, you know, add that in with the cardstock, how big we're gonna have to make the box, and then I can design the box cover, which I've already designed, but need to like flesh out all the dimensions. But it's coming to life, like Wally's World, a healing journey through sacred sites is coming to life, so I'm so excited. So definitely head over to Patreon if you want to help get this off the ground, because it's quite expensive. They do have a minimum amount of decks that I can print, and it's like 550 decks. So it's quite a chunk of change to plop down. We're going into like the 5 figures here. So yeah, go over to patreon.com/kittens, weights, and tarot and kind of like check all that out. I did make a video here on YouTube where I showed off like all my, what will eventually be the cards. So yeah, if you want to get involved, just definitely go check that out. Okay, so decks that are not my deck that I used in September. In this neat little Isis bag, I have my self-care activity deck. So this is the backs, and yeah, self-care activity oracle deck. But I love this so much, and this is what I used every day for my daily pulls. I pull actually 3 cards from 3 different decks is what I use on my nightstand slash I guess mini altar. But yeah, I was loving this. And then the other decks that I used on my nightstand for my daily pulls, I decided to use 3 decks using that utilized Danielle Knowles, I think it's Knowles, artwork. So one is from the Work Your Light Oracle, and that's by Rebecca Campbell, and then artwork by Danielle Noel, or Noel. So I just figured, I mean, the artwork is by the same person, like why not bust out all 3 decks and then see how they work together, you know, for some daily guidance. So yeah, I was definitely digging this in conjunction with the other 2 decks I'm going to show you. Okay, so the other deck by that same artist is the Moonchild Tarot, and she's this time not just the artist but the creator. And look at those beautiful edges, and this is the backs. Woo-hoo. And I did you know, show this off on my during my live chats. I think you guys have seen these cards already, but you know, I think they went well with the Work Your Light Oracle, and they go well with the Star Child, which I will show you next. Okay, so my other deck that I used in conjunction with the Work Your Light Oracle and the Moonchild Tarot is the Star Child Tarot, and then that self-care activity deck was used with them. So it was actually like 5 cards for my my daily pulls, and then there's those edges. And yeah, I think they, you know, if it's done by the same artist, they're like gonna go well together, you know, visually appealing, and they do appeal to my senses and my intuition. So yeah, I had a really good time in the month of September using all of these. And I also loved using the Enchanted Tarot. I did a review of this deck. This is the 25th anniversary edition of the Enchanted Tarot. And see how big these cards are. But I had this deck. I had the smaller version, like the little almost like pocket version. They had purple backings. They were borderless, and it was my very first deck, my very first tarot deck. And I was having a hard time connecting with it. And I talked all about my journey, you know, when I did my review of this. And I basically had gifted it to one of my besties. And now that I'm a little further along in my journey, I decided to go back and get it, and I'm so happy I did. Okay, one of the other decks that I was working with in the month of September, hold on, let me grab that. Towards the very tail end of September, it was Kyle Gray's Angels and Ancestors Oracle. So this is like the very tail end. And I'm still working with it, so expect to see this again for my October faves. But yeah, I love all the different guides, messengers, gurus that are in this deck. I think the messages are great. I love the guidebook. I love the images. I love everything about this deck, and I love a lot of the things that Kyle Gray does. So yeah. This next deck again was tail end of September, and that was Tarot de la Nuit, so Tarot of the Night. And I saw this on Queen Ossette's channel. So Oyas girl. So Queen Osset, yes, I did get the deck, and yes, I love it. I'm happy. I'm glad I got it. I told her that the this particular style of art is not really my style. But there's something, and even she said it, there's just something about this deck that just draws you in. Like the artwork, I'm like, I feel myself like getting pulled in, you know, as if I was like in a meditation, but I'm awake, you know, and I do waking meditations, but I don't know, I just feel myself like going into the cards and just like, so yeah, this has become a very powerful deck. Ooh, yes. Dia de los Muertos, yes. And the final deck that I want to show you guys is the Moon Power Tarot by Charlie Quintero. And this comes from Los Angeles. It's on Etsy. So definitely look it up if you are interested. But this has like glittery edging, gold edging, which I think is cool. These are the backs of the cards. Again, this was a very like tail end, so we're talking like the 29th or 30th of September, but it's still a fave, and it's still a fave now, so it's probably gonna pop up in my October faves. But it's weird, it's quirky, and somehow reminds me of like college. Like, you know, it reminds me of being in downtown Los Angeles in the like very early 2000s, like right at the turn of the new millennium. So yeah, I dig it. I love it. This is me, no? Alright, so that's it for me, spiritual homies. Those were all my faves for the month of September. I can't wait to show you what October brings. And yeah, I guess I can't say I'll see you next month because I make videos every day, so I guess I'll just see you tomorrow. So thank you guys for watching. If you have any comments or questions, leave that in the comment section down below. And if you dug this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to click subscribe, and don't forget to click that ding 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 notification bell for more videos just like this. And head over to www.kittensweightsandtarot.com if you would like to catch a reading with me, or you are interested in any of my lovely bracelets that I make, or maybe you're just looking for a particular spray to add into your witchy practice or your spiritual practice or whatever it is that you do, or maybe you're looking for a salve. My salves actually been flying off the shelves, and I just had an order for, it was like 6 more of my large salves, so they're very popular, and I hear they're doing wonders for people's skin, so definitely go check those out. And that's it for me, spiritual homies, so I will catch you later. Peace, love, and chicken grease. Peace out.